Hello again. It's Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit here on MAV TV, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. And we are so glad that you joined us. Ashley Stremme and Steve Post and Dominic Scelzi going to join us from the famous racing family. And of course, Dominic had a big win last weekend, so always good to talk with Dominic Scelzi.
You know, I'm excited because I think the last time we chatted with him, he said he was going into the business side of things and he was just going to race here and there, but he's had a pretty darn good season.
He kind of walked that back and clarified and said, I am going in the family business, but I'm still going to run 80 times a year. And he's doing a good job with it, yes. That's for sure. Speaking of doing a good job, you know, you're a Pennsylvania girl. I've spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. Brent Marks getting the win in that National Open. You actually flew with his wife somewhere recently as well on the same plane. Man, I'll tell you what, it doesn't get much better feel-good story than that.
It really doesn't. With Brent being a small team and just him and his two crew guys traveling the country while Megan's back at home with their little girl McKenna, or Mackenzie, I believe it is. It's a tough relationship there, but they make it work, and it's awesome to see him finally win the National Open.
You know, it's $65,000, which that matters to these teams a lot, but it was at home. You know, Brent, and actually we had Brent on earlier this year, and he talked about the struggle of balancing the everybody wants a piece of your time at home and focusing on the job. I'm fairly confident after the race that everyone got all the time they needed with him, and it was just really, really neat.
Well, that's kind of what he said in his Victory Lane speech on Saturday night. He said, I get to stay home, I get to sleep in my own bed, so we're going to party pretty good tonight.
Yeah, the Outlaws aren't back until tonight, so he had the whole week in Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh! Oh, Fredericksburg Hotel, or the hotel that sponsors them. Yes. That place, I'm sure, is probably ran dry if they get done. Great stuff. A great story when we look at this season, as is Dominic Scelzi, who we're going to talk to in just a little bit. Before we get to that, though, the racing action last weekend, Jacksonville, Illinois. It was the MOA Series. It was Rico Abreu and Buddy Kofoid mixing it up. Rico ended up getting the win. Our old buddy Chet Christner had the call on Speed Shift TV. It's our Dryden Diesel all-death-defying move of the week.
And now for the Dryden death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
As he gets through it, here's the opening he needed down the inside. Slide job for the race lead. Kofoid looking back to the inside.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Dryden Diesel All Death, the official death of the world of outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Dryden.com for more information.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit here on MAV TV. Going to the Hercules Tire Hotline, joining us from way out west, out there racing in the King of the West NARC Series and really a lot of other places. Dominic Scelzi's on the line. Hello, Dominic. Welcome back to Wing Nation.
How we doing, guys?
We are doing fantastic, and was reading up this past week, your fifth win of the season with NARC. You're racing a lot. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I feel like I'm going a million miles an hour with everything that's been going on this year, but I'm loving every second of it and having a lot of fun, and you know, we're winning a lot of races, so I can't really complain.
Dominic, talk about what a normal week looks like for you, especially with your working and what's going on there, and then traveling to the racetrack. How do you keep it all straight?
I really don't. If it wasn't for my girlfriend, I think I'd have pulled all my hair out by now. With working at Scelzi Enterprises, is, you know, every waking minute that I can, it gets pretty busy. Most of the time, if I'm traveling, just a normal week, I'll be up around 5:30, 6 o'clock to get to work around 6:30, and we start around 7. So I got to take my dog for a walk before, make sure he goes to the bathroom, and then usually work till 4. And depending on how Ross guys are doing, how Scotty's doing, I'll go over there to Ross after and get home around 7, microwave a pizza, and then off to sleep I go around 9 or 10, and then Thursday comes around, and after a half day of work, I fly off to wherever I'm racing at in the Midwest, race in the Midwest, and come home, and then do it all over again. So I've been definitely running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Okay, you said something that I've never heard a dirt track driver say before. I get up at 6:30 in the morning. Okay, seriously, the clock. How does the clock work? I run the same schedule as you. I'm in bed 9:30, 10 o'clock, and when I go to these sprint car races, it's a bear. How does that work for you with the sprint car time clock?
It's extremely hard. I honestly, when I go racing, I more so feel like I'm on vacation because I've got great guys that work on my stuff, so they can kind of do the work, and I can sort of sit there and look pretty. But when I'm working, usually I'm up anywhere from 5 to 5:30, sleeping in for me, and I like to be able to take my dog for a walk, so so he doesn't have any accidents in our race shop, and then off to work I go. I really have turned into a morning person. I like getting up early. I like getting a lot of stuff done there before it gets hot here in Fresno, and then I guess really the hardest part for me is when I do go on the road, staying up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning when we go to the car washes. That's a little bit tough on me just because your mental clock sort of gets out of whack.
Yep. I get it totally. Sure.
I agree 100%. You get so much accomplished when you get up early in the morning before everyone else wakes up.
And Ashley, you like Dominic look pretty doing it too. So there you
exactly,
go, just like Dominic. Yeah.
I love it.
My makeup routine is pretty quick.
Real simple. Got to keep it simple.
That's right.
We talk about these wins this season, and it's been awesome. But I saw you post earlier in the year, and I want you to talk a bit about it because the famed Roth number 83. We as lovers of dirt track and sprint car racing know what that means, but what's it mean to you to win in that car?
Oh, it means everything. As a kid growing up in California, if it wasn't Tim Kading or Daniel Lasowski or one of the amazing racers that have driven the car before me, Kyle Hurst, even so many guys that I've looked up to my entire life that have driven this car. Now to be in it and to be winning as many races as we have this year, I think we've got a 25% winning percentage this year. It blows my mind that we've been as successful as we've had, and we've definitely had our fair share of ups and downs. We've changed cars, or types of cars, anyways, and changed shocks, changed a lot of stuff around for the times that we had struggled. We won races in the beginning of the year, we've won races in the middle of the year, and we've winning races here at the end of the year. But I definitely think that if we can keep this thing going and do it next year and the year to come, I think we're just going to get faster and better. And I think now we're really gelling as a team, and we're really fast.
Dominic, the state of sprint car racing in California, of course, one of the great iconic regions, and you've talked about it, the last name's Kading and that sort of thing. Now, and I know we're coming off Bakersfield, which was a little bit of a road trip, so you had a fewer cars down there than you normally have. But with the Sprint Car Challenge Tour, the NARC 410 Tour, and of course Trophy Cup coming up, how would you describe how things are in California?
I think there's a lot of good going on in California, and with the SSCT or SCCT, they do a lot of good, and the NARC series has, in my opinion, there's a lot of good about it as well. I'm actually trying to get on the board. I might be on the board right now and not even know it, but I'm working to get on the board of NARC. I've got some ideas that, in my opinion, I think is very important that we change some stuff around with 410 sprint car racing in California. And, I think we're on the right track. Jim Allen does an outstanding job for us, and he's really helped us out a lot. But guys like Peter Murphy have so many ideas that would help this sport out that, I want to see happen, and I want to help if I can. And, I think for us, California is on the upswing, but there's still a lot we can do to make it better. And we need to get back to the nights where we have 40, 50, 410 cars. And I think it's doable. Yeah, I think so too. Just don't ever get rid of the bacon giveaway. Oh, I'll tell you what, we went to gas on Saturday night, and something happened where the refrigeration got messed up, and I didn't get any bacon. I think that's the most upset I've been all year. They do a deal, the NARC Tour, the 410 deal does a deal where the dash winner gives away a boatload. It's a whole cooler full of bacon and gets a whole cooler full of bacon. Nice. Oh, man. Yep, Sun Valley does a great job. They have wonderful bacon. I think I've eaten about 100 pounds of it this year because I keep stealing everyone's when they win. I get in their trailer and steal it and take it home. So they do a great job. It's awesome that they do that for us. And, it's a lot of fun when you win that dash and you got 9 pounds of bacon coming your way.
Yeah, 9 pounds apiece for the. I know when Jim Allen, when they had their speed week, he was worried about calling too much bacon contraband around because he had the whole weekend supply. So, fun stuff, that's for sure. Dominic, we need to step away, take a little bit of a breather here, but we've got more coming up. So you hang in there with us. Everyone, stick around. Make sure that you register for the Hercules Tires. HerculesTires.com/MRN. It's October. We're giving away another set of tires. Stay with us. More with Dominic Scelzi in just a moment.
Do a little shopping? Well, I heard an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and 10 keeps the competition away. I got you a Granny Smith, seeing you're a little sour.
From sweet to tart and everything in between, Sage Fruit supplies every variety of apple that shoppers may be looking for. For over 3 generations, they've been providing customers with only the best apples, pears, and cherries that Washington has to offer.
You're finally taking my advice.
Well, something like that. I figured out how to get my 10 apples in a day. Sage Fruit, it's the choice of champions.
Dominic Scelzi joins us here today on the Hercules Tires Hotline at his Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. And Dominic, earlier this year, we were chatting with you, and I don't know that you had talked about going to work full time for Scelzi Enterprises, and we thought, okay, well, that will scale back your races. And then you said, wait a minute, no, I'm not scaling back my races either, okay? And you shared with us what the week in and week out schedule is like, but what is it like now with a full-time job at Scelzi Enterprises?
You know, to be honest, I absolutely love it. I'm in the purchasing department, so I purchase steel, aluminum, wood, everything that it takes to build our bodies. I'm a part of the buying process, and it's something that was very new to me there. And I think I started messing around with it in September of last year when I had a leg injury, and I really enjoyed it. So I've been doing it for over a year now, and this year, obviously, doing it about as full time as I possibly can. I think I've only missed a couple weeks with, the Knoxville Nationals and, a couple other weeks here and there. But I love it. And being a part of the business, I've learned a lot. I'm learning about the transportation of steel from one plant to the other. I'm learning about, how we get our bodies up and down the road. I'm learning a lot of different things. And it's been very helpful for me to figure out how much I love working at Scelzi Enterprises.
Well, you talk about missing a couple weeks here and there for the racing schedule, of course. I'm just curious how the boss is to work with on that.
You know what? My boss is, I like to say my boss is my uncle, because my dad, he's always in my office wanting to talk racing and, wanting to BS with me about, oh, hey, where are you going this week? And, what are we going to do about this car? Or, hey, did you see Brian Monteith want to race at Lincoln? And, stuff like that I think he's more my buddy at work than my boss. So my uncle is definitely more so my boss, and he's the one that you got to make sure is happy with you. And every time I go racing, more and more it seems like throughout the year. But hey, we really need you around here. We really want you around here, and I enjoy being there. So it's a lot of fun being able to learn from my uncle and my dad both. Working every day, and some days, as busy as we are, I don't even see them. So it's a pretty cool work dynamic. I think we get along really well, and I learn something every single day.
One of the things we like to do here on the MAV TV show is make sure that everyone understands, because some of you tuned in, you're not familiar with what we're talking about. Scelzi Enterprise, they build bodies in these compartments on the back of trucks. His dad is Gary Scelzi. He is the multi-time NHRA champion and one of the greatest characters in the sport. And the one that's the serious one is Uncle Ron Scelzi. So that's how this works. And however drag racing kids got into sprint car racing, we're still sorting all of that out. But that's kind of the connecting the dots there, because I know a lot of people tuned in here on our MAV show maybe don't know the deep roots of sprint car racing or the Scelzi family. Now, another thing or element that I see you've added to your family is a pet, a dog. Now, how did this happen?
Well, I blame Donnie Schatz. That's probably the biggest reason why I've got a dog now. We stay at Pinella's truck yard there in Stockton after we race at Placerville. So Thursday night, the 15 guys and Donnie and my guys were all cooking out at Pinella's shop, and there's this poor little German Shepherd in between our trailers, and you can tell he's skinny and looked a little hungry. So I cut up some hot dogs for him and some steak and went and fed him, and sure, he was stuck right by my side the whole rest of the night, and he was friendly with all the guys and even the other dogs around. So Donnie kept telling me, "Oh yeah, that's going to be your dog. You're going to take him home." And we went to the hotel that night. And I think I stayed up all night just sort of looking up what do you need to have a dog. I've never had a dog before. I can hardly take care of myself. We went back there, and Donnie and I, we went to PetSmart and got a leash and got food, and I gave him a bath, and we took him down to the vet, and a couple hours later, he was my dog. So that was an interesting conversation to have with my girlfriend and my parents. That, hey, I've got a dog now, so he's a great little puppy. His name's Frankie, and he's about 5 years old, but pretty cool having a dog, I gotta say.
That makes my heart beat.
Amazing.
Well, I forget who it was that we talked to. Maybe it was last year or the year before. He found a dog at the Walmart. They were staying. That's who it was.
Yeah. A dog at the Walmart. Yeah.
They were doing kind of the same deal. So if every race team would adopt a dog,
there you go.
We may not have any dogs in the shelter. Oh, so sad.
I'm all for it. And it was so funny because I talked to Donnie about every week. Oh, hey, my dog's doing this or my dog's doing that, and Donnie and I are good buddies, and it seems like now that I've got a dog, I think he's just kind of he hangs out with me so he can see my dog. Donnie was going to take him home himself, he said. So, Frankie's a good puppy, and I'm very lucky to have found him.
I love it. It's so cool. Sweet. Well, we talk about the Scelzi characters, and I really want to dive into this a little bit because, Dominic, you're very much like your dad, Gary. And then it comes to your brother, Gio, very, very talented race car driver. However, he's not a Gary and he's not a Dominic. He's kind of his own little Gio. And I love it because you guys just did a super Scelzi Mario themed helmet, which is super cool. And I know how close you two are, and it's absolutely incredible to see how much you support each other. But where did Gio, you had tweeted out one time a very serious picture of Gio and his excitement. Where did that really come from? Why are you so totally opposite when it comes to, I guess, attitudes, if you will?
I laugh because in reality, I think he's crazier than I am and even more fun than I am. But the biggest thing I think for Gio is he's not untrusting, but he's not very open and outgoing. Once you get to know him, he's a wild man. You can't get him to shut up. And, like I said, he is my best friend, and we've got the Super Scelzi Bros helmets, and I think we're going to do some merchandise and stuff with that too. But, in reality, I think the biggest thing for him is Gio always worries about everything, and he's worried about maybe sometimes saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. And he comes off very reserved, and I think sometimes he might come off as, maybe a little arrogant, but that's actually not him at all. He's just he tries really hard to not say the wrong things and tries to be quiet and a little bit more reserved because his goal is making it to NASCAR, and he doesn't want to be the one that says something wrong or does something wrong. But in reality, he's a wild man, and you get two of us together, and you better look out because we'll burn the whole town down. We have a lot of fun together, and whether we go do go-karts or we could go fishing and have the best time in the world. It's something that's really special, and with as close as we are and the success that he's had now that he's got all this national recognition, I always like to bring up the I feel like the old high school guy that would have gone pro if it wasn't for his bum knee. I like to bring up all the times that I kicked his butt and just bring him down a notch.
Keep him grounded, right?
That's right. It's important.
Yeah, because that kid in the future, the sky's the limit, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, man, we haven't seen one come along with that skill. Maybe Christopher Bell's the last one we saw come along with that skill set. It really is. Dominic, I'll tell you, the clock on the wall says we got to say goodbye, but man, I always appreciate the time. Good chatting. Good luck with Frankie, and good luck trying to get this King of the West NARC Championship. But we always appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, guys. I look forward to talking to you in Charlotte.
There we go. That is Dominic Scelzi.
Good family.
Oh, my gosh. Salt of the earth people, for sure. Hey, want to remind you before we get out of here, Hercules Tires, that set of tires we're giving away in October. HerculesTires.com/MRN. Register to get your set of Hercules Tires.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
You're watching Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, and it is time for the Tweet Your Seats Tweets of the Week. And we're kicking it off with none other than the National Open at Williams Grove Friday night. These tweets come from Travis, Raz, Letitia, Dawn, Red Robin Racing, and Jay. Like I said, it was the National Open, and for the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, David Gravel, 19th quick time, 9th win of the season. Absolutely incredible. Second Williams Grove win this year and his 6th overall Williams Grove win. And he was followed by the 69K in the 15.
Yes, Deweese and Schatz in hot pursuit coming to the finish. Then they teed it back up the next night. Of course, this was the big night, the 57th annual National Open. Tweets from Kane, look at these from Hawk Dizzle, Becky, Dawn, Dave, Jeb, K-Rob, Mark, and a whole lot more. These are just the ones that we selected here. World of Outlaws, this story, Brent Marks, 3 wins in 2019, so he looked at 2020 as like Katie bar the doors, here we come, and he went all the way until now to get that first win, but it was a $65,000 win, his first of the season, none bigger in his career, really neat, for sure.
And at home.
And at home, yes. Brent Marks, Darren Pittman second, and that Schatz guy third again on the podium on Saturday night at the Williams Grove National Open.
This tweet comes from The Cushion. It is I-30 for the 32nd annual Comp Cam Short Track Nationals. Friday's winner was Derek Hager, and Saturday, Blake Hahn. Now, he missed the show on Friday night.
That's how tough that field was over there, yeah.
Absolutely incredible. But it is his second consecutive win, and he joins Steve Kinzer, Gary Wright, and Tony Bruce Jr. and Sammy Swindells as multiple-time winners. So that's a pretty good list to be part of.
You're with Tony Bruce Jr., Gary Wright, Steve Kinzer, and Sammy Swindell in a category. I think you're doing all right for young Blake Hahn. Blake is rolling as well on the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. You can catch a lot of their races right here on MAV TV. He is just flying right now. He is off and rolling. Over to Atomic Speedway in Chillicothe. These are from Andy and Gerald. It was the Freedom 40 race, Fast Series. And Cole Duncan, what a year he's had. He's the Atomic champ, but when this one, he won the Fast Championship, and this is his 5th consecutive year that he's won this Freedom 40 race. So, yeah, and one of the young guys we met up there, Brenton Marvel, great young racer from over in Indiana, finished second, and Lee Jacobs finished in the 3rd spot.
We're off to Petaluma. This tweet comes from the official Ron Lindgren.
Yes.
It's the 8th annual Adobe Cup. Your winner was Sean Becker, the Sharp, taking home $5,000.
Congratulations. We had Sean Becker on earlier this year. Man, what a good guy he is. I just love our racers from across the country. And I love our tweets, our Tweet Your Seats. So send them in each and every week. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Do a little shopping? Well, I heard an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and 10 keeps the competition away. I got you a Granny Smith, seeing you're a little sour.
From sweet to tart and everything in between, Sage Fruit supplies every variety of apple that shoppers may be looking for. For over 3 generations, they've been providing customers with only the best apples, pears, and cherries that Washington has to offer.
You're finally taking my advice.
Well, something like that. I figured out how to get my 10 apples in a day. Sage Fruit, it's the choice of champions.
We are having a ball. We're glad you joined us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Always love chatting with Dominic Scelzi. The only problem with chatting with Dominic Scelzi is we both have a list 1.5 miles long of things we didn't get to cover with him.
No, he's always a good talker and always has so much to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And he said he's looking pretty. Yeah. So that's changed since the last time I saw him, that's for sure. Oh, cheap shot there. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Tonight, if you're watching this on Saturday, if you don't DVR it like it seems like everyone does, if you're watching this on Saturday, the Wabash Clash at Terre Haute Action Track. Tomorrow night, Tri-State Speedway in Hobstadt. This point battle, we have not had this, okay? Brad Sweet by 14 over Schatz, and still, don't look now, David Gravel is back there, and he may be the fastest one of the 3 right now.
I don't even really know what to say because, like you said, we haven't come to this in, 10 years?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. It's going to be enjoyable to actually watch how this plays out. Maybe not for Donnie Schatz or Brad Sweet, but it's enjoyable for us fans to finally see how this is actually going to boil down.
Schatz has even gone to the Ford engine. They made the change to the Ford engine going into Williams Grove, but I know they felt really confident about that decision, and they actually believe now that might be their upper hand. Right. Isn't that amazing? Amazing stuff. It really is. Yes, it is. Hey, we appreciate Dominic Scelzi for joining us, but more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.